Welcome everybody back to Spin Rack. How is it going? Today I got my boy, Petey.
He forgot again.
I didn't forget. Tell him, Clyde.
Oh my goodness.
So today we're going to be talking about Black Panther versus Blade. You know, this has been something people have been discussing. Who can kick whose butt? Who's the baddest of them all? I got to say I have my particular opinion. But of course, I'm going to kick the ball over to my boy, Petey, and let me hear what madness you're going to say.
Well, you know, it actually is madness this time because you know what?
What?
I'm going on my whole Blaxploitation rant again.
Oh, boy.
I'm taking it somewhere else.
Okay, before we even do that, let's limit it. Which Black Panther are we talking about and which Blade? Are we talking about comic book? Are we talking about movies? Which one are we talking?
We're going to stick to, for me, I'm going to stick to movies. If we want to go straight versus,
then we can stick to movies. If we're doing movies, we're doing movies. Okay, so that changes the flavor a little bit for me. So let's see. What happens, Black Panther's walking down the street, Blade sees him and says, yo, boy, I want your blood. You know? But of course, Blade ain't going to say that because
Blade take his blood. He doesn't.
I know. I'm just starting
he
it
takes
off.
A serum,
the
right?
point is they start fighting and before you know it, who wins?
Who wins in your idea?
In my idea, if we're doing straight movie superhero, it's going to have to be Black Panther. There's just no way anyone can beat Black Panther right now. Black Panther has like the biggest possible power. His vibranium alone aids him in no way anyone else. I mean, we're talking about a suit that can do all kinds of stuff. For example, if you hit him, he can take that kinetic power and come right back at you. It protects him. He's able to breathe underwater with the doggone thing. He's able to, and then his skills, he's a skilled martial artist. You know, he's got to be like top 10 at least. He's a genius level intellect. You know, what else? Let's not even forget, if he goes into the power of the Black Panther, he remembers everything all the other Black Panthers have done, you know, and he's able to assume the powers that he needs to get stronger and more powerful. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough to do. Now, the negative thing is that we can't knock Blade because Blade is a vampire. You know, he's a daywalker, something that most of them can't do. So that very alone is a feather in his cap, because you know, as opposed to being stuck just fighting in the daytime. I mean, in the nighttime, he's able to go after you in the daytime. So there's no way. That's one major weakness that vampires have. Another thing, he's super strong. He's a great martial artist. He has that damn sword that's all over the place. You can't seem to get away from that. He ages real slow.
Yep.
And it's hard to kill him. It's not like you can stab that dude quite a few times and he has healing powers, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So that's it.
Well, that's saying that if we had a straight up fight, obviously with Black Panther having armor would win. And having all the extra gadgets, more gadgets than Blade, there's not much more that Blade could do. And I'm all for certain characters like the Hulk being astronomically stronger than Spider-Man, so then Black Panthers, like Iron Man, to Blades, I don't know what would this character be, you know, maybe it'd be like Wolverine or maybe stronger than Wolverine. Probably.
I'd say about Wolverine.
That sort of thing. So you can't really match up in a fight. But if we go to a classic black cinema, just like, say, Shaft and Sweetback's Badass Song, how do these two compare? Because you've already laid out that Black Panther has so much going for him. Does it measure up in the classic black cinema of the 70s? So then I have to say, you know what?
I don't know what you're going to say.
Okay. I'm going to say, first off, Black Panther is cool. Is Blade cooler than the Black Panther, though?
Is Blade cooler than the Black Panther? Is Blade cooler? Blade is the bad boy. He's like the Malcolm X, whereas our boy Black Panther is the W.E.B. Du Bois and Martin Luther King of the battle. So that's where I'm trying to say that. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say?
It's a good close, but he is a fighter. I'm just saying Black Panther is a little more James Bond, whereas Blade is what you described.
Yeah.
It's hard to be cooler than Sean Connery, James Bond. So it's really neck and neck, but there's a little more attitude to Blade.
A little.
So there you go.
That's Wesley Snipes gave a lot of freaking attitude. What are you talking about?
So there you go. So if you go for cool, you need more attitude for coolness. And since Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman is giving us sort of a Sean Connery that just like that sort of the elegant, cool, walking in the room a little bit, with sort of that Denzel sort of brings out. When you have a little more attitude, you might swing to the attitude in the bad boy. You might go
Okay,
towards
but-
a bad boy.
But Petey,
Look, I'm a
listen,
fan. I'm a
Prime
big
Minister,
fan,
Prime
but
Minister,
I'm-
Prime Minister, Prime Minister, PM. So how does that beat Black Panther?
I'm saying
On
attitude.
Coolness?
Attitude when bad boy wins them over. You don't think attitude wins the girls over more? The bad boy.
But we're not talking about winning over the girls. We're talking about who kicks
That's cool.
butt.
We did talk about that. You said I couldn't defeat your argument of Black Panther.
Oh,
So
so
I'm
you
going
agree?
on to the classic cinema. How does it measure up? How does he measure up?
how does he
You
measure-
already won that argument.
Okay.
So we got to go to the points of going to the black cinema, as AKA black exploitation. Is he a black? They're both black exploitation heroes, but there's a little bit more of a diplomat in our Black Panther, and that kind of kills the black exploitation part of it.
Of course it does. Of course it
He
does.
can't decide. You know what? He already, this whole thing of doing this battle, which is cool for the Black Panther and keeping the tradition. He's got to get rid of that. He's got to say, you know what? After the time you lose it, like, nah, we're not allowing anyone that's, beneath me, anyone below me, and I'm doing my Isaiah Thomas voice.
Anybody below them? Mr. Thomas.
For Scottie Pippen, anyone beneath me is not going for this anymore. I gotta die on the battlefield, and then you guys figure it out. So Blade has a lot of attitude. He has, he exudes cool. He's an anti-hero. There's a lot of aspects that lead to you more towards the black cinema, the old school black cinema.
so-
And he's got gadgets like James Bond. They both got some James Bond aspects to them.
I don't think there's a comparison. One dude owns a country, another dude is just getting whatever he can get on the black market. Look, I can see what you're saying.
That takes away from that.
But I
If he was an Idi Amin, then we could start saying something.
look, I'm just saying
Because it was Killmonger is more the Idi Amin type.
yeah, straight up bad. That's what I gotta say. Not straight up bad, straight up bad. Look, I'm saying that I can see what you're talking about. Blade definitely has that swagger and stuff like that, but I don't know if swagger is enough. Sometimes people want the good guys.
Okay.
And Blade he's a good guy, but he's on that edge. He's a vampire. He's at that edge. And vampires have all kinds of stuff. They're mesmerizing. They're able to take people over. But he's at that edge that I don't know. They've always been pushing. If they push him more, you never know. Blade can go full out bad. You know what I'm trying to say? And then all he needs to do is drink some blood.
So we're at an impasse. We're gonna go a draw on Coolness.
Okay.
Because he couldn't go that year. So Black Panther has won because he has all the gadgets. We've gone that. So Black Panther is still up.
Okay. And whatchamacallit has Coolness is what you're saying. And
But
I can admit that. I'll give you that.
We both split, so
Okay.
we still got one on the actual battle.
So how do we cut? How do we break this
we
tie?
got to go to the next part of the classic black cinema.
Oh, what is it?
Well, does Black Panther get the girl in the end? Does he get the girl in the movie? Now Blade does an interesting thing. In both Blade movies, not like black cinema, but in superhero movies, there's going to be something which Frank Miller named that. Well, Frank Miller said that superheroes don't have sex in the regular way. So if you look at, don't get too weirded out right now, but if you look at the first Superman movie, the scene where Superman and Lois are flying through the air, that's a superhero love scene.
Yes, it is.
Because it's actually, and she's thinking, so it's almost like the thought bubbles. It's really giving you something more spectacular than just a regular love scene. Something with him flying with this human girl, they're floating in the air. So it's giving you something even more magical and more of making them connect than doing just a regular, sex scene. So in Blade, in the first two movies, he has in each movie, a superhero love scene. In the first one, he's drained of blood completely. And his his co-star in Boucher Wright, she's like the first, even though that's not the official Marvel Studios movie, she's the official first female, first heroine of the Marvel Studios, whole brand. Because she's the first one. That's really the first real movie that we consider the first real movie, first success, right?
Okay.
That's what we can
I
say.
can
The
see
first
that.
success. She's the first one, and she gives up her blood not allowing, because she already has these bites. He's not biting into him, but he's draining some of her blood so he can live.
Right.
And this is a very dramatic scene. It's kind of on the edgy side, you know, a little more sensual than say
A lot more.
But it has the elements of them making a connection without the actual sex and giving you the superhero sex scene.
The bite has always been an analog for the sex scene in
Yes,
vampires.
yes,
We know
very
that.
cool,
It's not a question.
Thank you.
You know,
but
that's
we don't have that. In the Black Panther is nervous when he gets around this girl, right?
Yes.
So that's the thing.
Because he's a good boy.
He's a good boy. See what I'm saying? And I really like the Black Panther, and especially if we go for the Black Panther in Civil War. Well, that guy, he take no prisoners. But we're going for just the Black Panther movie, and he's more of a diplomat. So then you have to also go to the second Blade movie. The second Blade movie doesn't have one of those type of scenes, like a more sensual scene. It has a scene where he has this connection with an adversary. She basically she's one of the classic, the relative of the old vampires.
Right.
And in the end, she gets bit by one of those hybrid vampires, and she's going to die. So she decides that she wants to die looking at the sun. And Blade is holding her, and they do a slow-mo of her dissolving away and turning to ash. And it's a very visual scene.
Poignant scene.
And this is another superhero love scene, something more dramatic and more visual than just the regular love scene. So
that's another classic vampire scene when you die in the arms of the one you love while the sun goes up.
So I'm going to have to give now Blade is on the board as far as the verses, only in the sense of the black exploitation.
Now I gotta knock that down because my boy Black Panther, yes, we're saying the movies. Remember, we're utilizing the one from the movies, and we're saying his swagger. He could have had many of others.
I'm not done.
But hold on. But then my bad.
I'm not done yet. I'm just saying we can just score from having these sort of scenes.
He had great scenes which he connected with his character.
Just take one of those is enough to say there's only. Nakia goes off and says, "No, I can't be the queen. I gotta go.
Right. She wants to do her
that sort of thing." So it leads open to another romance in the second Black Panther movie that can lead to some sort of romantic triangles. But we don't have anything that would really show. We just have his being nervous. So Blade has to win.
But they never really emphasize his relationship. But you can see the depth of the relationship he has with Nakia, in that when. He lost, she was still supporting him no matter what against Killmonger. Remember that? And she was trying to secure the family and help him out because why? Not only was it right, but she felt she had a strong connection to him. And when they were bantering around and flirting that they had something more. It's just that she wanted to have a career and she just didn't want to be queen.
But that's the thing.
And that's the key thing. And Blade, luckily, even though he
had the flirting, had the connection,
but even
Long Island looking. Karen Jensen looking at him while he's taking the serum, and then the other scene where they're like, "Oh, Blade isn't this person? He has some weaknesses." So in the second one too, so they both have that sort of thing in there. So we have to give that to Blade. Blade is on the board.
I'm gonna have to disagree, but you know what? You know who really should make a decision? You guys out there are going to have to tell us.
They'll do that later, but we have another thing.
Oh, another one?
Regretfully, we have one other thing.
What other? I got to hear this one.
Something that Blade doesn't have. The Blade had, in the second one, he worked with the Blood Pack, which he had to coerce and they go against him, this, that, and the other. They had in the third one, he had the Night Stalkers or whatever those guys were that weren't really his team. They were just sort of working with Blade.
Yeah.
So this is your subjects, your underlings, your partners. The Black Panther, he has the Dora Milaje, the hot female bodyguards.
See, I wasn't even going that far, but yeah. Oh my gosh.
So it's kind of hard to beat as far as
in black exploitation, having a group of chicks hanging around you all the time.
We've only seen the whole
pimp master
and the prostitute thing.
Right.
This is like saying these badass, female soldiers, like from Civil War. Like you can fight in the Civil War. They're not even in costume, and they come in with a presence.
But remember, the tradition started that they were the wives of all the other. The Black Panther had these symbolic wives from other ethnic groups from the Black Panther nation. What is the nation called? I keep forgetting. Wakanda.
He said he forgot. Oh
I know.
my
Sorry, I was
gosh.
going to call it
Point
Rwanda.
off to him. Keep
So,
going.
so, yeah, basically, theoretically, these were his symbolic wives. Hopefully, it didn't start off as the wives themselves. So,
Hey,
you know what I'm trying to say?
I mean, I'm not bringing in, I'm not
So,
going
yes.
coming to America here because then that'd be a whole nother battle. But, but that's one we had to give to the Black Panther.
Surrounded by
Right.
hot chicks.
He comes in there and they fight. They handle their own business.
So there it is. Black Panther wins.
Well, no, I like Chadwick Boseman, so Black Panther has to win that one. And the other thing is, if we go another way, going through the movie itself and going through the history of the Black Panthers and almost symbolic of some of the actual African history, the whole aspect of, even though that's a tidbit from John Singleton having this connection to the Black Panthers, like with the Killmonger's father, that also led some more Black history to it. So there's a lot of levels to the Black Panther, a lot of subtext that's there that we could say would also win over. So almost Wesley himself is fighting a good battle against the Black Panther because he's the great and he's the first. But in actual points, we have to give it to the Black Panther.
Okay.
So taking nothing away from Blade, because I love the first two movies. Two of my favorite actresses are in the first two movies. Obviously, the third one had some great actors, but it didn't measure up to the other two. So, sorry to say, we got to give it to the Black Panther. But we're waiting for more.
Okay.
2022?
2022 forever. Well, keep watch. If you like what you see, comment, like, give us a thumbs up. Spinner rack.
Out.